Carmelo Anthony just got indicted for stabbing Austin Metcalf, and this is the first tweet that I see. They are trying to make an example of Carmelo Anthony to serve as a reminder to all of Black America. And you know what? I agree. The reminder is that if you stab somebody in the heart because they told you to move, you're going to prison for life.
Carmelo Anthony always kept it real. On the court, he was a killer, mid-range, corner three, post-up. None of it mattered. When Melo had the ball, the game was already his. But behind the fame, the Olympic medals, and the endless highlights, people rarely saw the man behind the jersey. The son. The loyal kid from Brooklyn who never forgot his roots. That's why, when everything started falling apart, it wasn't just shocking, it was devastating. Not for the cameras, not for the media, but for Carmelo himself. It all started with one text. Just a single message. "Melo, you seen the news?" He didn't think much of it at first. He was mid-workout, headphones blasting, locked in like always. But when his phone kept buzzing nonstop, something didn't feel right. That's when he stopped everything and finally checked. And the moment he saw the screen, it was like the air left the room. There it was, bold and loud. Breaking. Carmelo Anthony's parents facing criminal charges in federal investigation. He froze. Read it again. And again. But it still didn't make sense. His hands trembled, heart pounding as he dropped the phone. This had to be a mistake.
How? Why?
What did they mean, criminal charges? Carmelo Anthony, one of the most respected names in basketball, was now being linked to something he had no part in, something tied to the two people who meant everything to him, his parents. Mary Anthony, his mother, was a warrior. She raised him after his father passed away from cancer when Carmelo was just 2 years old. She kept the house running, made sure food was on the table, and protected him from the streets. She was strong, proud, and unshakable. Now she was being accused, and his late father, Carmelo Iriarte. Even though he passed decades ago, his name was being dragged into financial documents and shady deals. The report said the charges were tied to a long-hidden trust fund and real estate accounts opened in Melo's name years ago. Apparently, someone had been playing with his early career money. And now, somehow, his mother was at the center of it. The FBI was claiming fraud. Wire transfers, fake property investments, tax evasion. Money that was supposedly meant for charity, for community programs, had been misused. Melo couldn't breathe. He trusted his family with everything. Now it felt like his world had been flipped upside down. Was it all a lie? The media caught fire. News stations played the story on repeat. Twitter exploded with theories and hot takes. Everyone had something to say. Everyone suddenly became an expert on his life. But Carmelo? He didn't say a single word.
No tweets.
No statements. No press. For a man always in the spotlight, he vanished completely. Even his closest friends couldn't reach him. For days, he was just gone. When he finally resurfaced, it wasn't through a carefully worded post or a soft-spoken interview. It was pure anger. Paparazzi spotted him outside a legal office in Manhattan, storming out, jaw clenched, eyes bloodshot. A reporter, clearly fishing for a headline, asked, "Are you going to cut off your mom now?" Melo snapped. He turned fast, eyes burning, and shouted, "You don't know nothing about my life. Nothing. Get that camera out of my face." Security rushed to hold him back. The clip went viral instantly. But what nobody showed was what happened right after that outburst. He didn't go home. He went straight to the hospital. His mother had collapsed, panic attacks, chest pain, the weight of the public scandal crushing her. Melo sat beside her, her hand in his, and whispered, "Tell me you didn't do this. Please, Ma, tell me the truth." She couldn't say much. Just tears rolled down her cheeks. And in that moment, Melo didn't see a criminal or a headline. He saw the woman who raised him, the woman who skipped meals so he could eat, the woman who gave up everything so he could become something. And no matter what the world said, he couldn't bring himself to hate her. But inside, he was boiling. Not just angry, hurt,
Lost.
Back in his hotel room, he stared at the mirror for hours. For the first time in years, he didn't recognize the man staring back. Was he a fool? Had he been blind? Did his own mother lie to him all these years? The pain twisted inside him. Loyalty had always been his code. But now that loyalty was tearing him apart. He posted a plain black square on Instagram. No caption. Millions of likes poured in. The next day, he added to his story, "Loyalty has its limits." Just 4 words, and the internet exploded. Was he turning on his mom? Was he ready to speak? Was he ready to break the silence? That's when interview offers came flying in. ESPN.
Fan. Podcasts.
Streaming services. Everyone wanted the exclusive. For weeks, he said no. But then he agreed to one. Not a big network. Just a quiet sit-down with an old friend from the neighborhood. No filters. No camera crew. Just real talk. When asked about the charges, Melo finally opened up. "I spent my whole life making sure my people were good," he said. "I gave without questions. You think I asked my mom for receipts? That's my mother. I trusted her.
But now?
Now, I don't know what to believe." His voice cracked. He wasn't shouting anymore. He wasn't angry. He just looked tired. "I'm not mad at her," he added. "I'm mad at what this world does to people. What money does. What fear does. Maybe she thought she was helping. Maybe she thought she was protecting me. But if she lied, I need to understand why." The internet rallied behind him. Teammates like LeBron, D-Wade, and CP3 all shared his clip, adding the hashtag. #StandWithMelo. Fans followed. Support poured in. But the case didn't care about hashtags. Evidence kept piling up. Emails. Paper trails. Account withdrawals. The media started whispering maybe Melo knew more than he was letting on. Talk shows debated if he was in on it. That's when it happened again. At a charity event for underprivileged kids, someone asked him if he was using dirty money to fund his causes. Melo froze, took one deep breath, then leaned into the mic and said, "Say that again." No one said a word. "That's the last time you talked to me like that. Last time." He walked off the stage. Another viral clip. But behind the scenes, something had changed. Carmelo had stopped defending. He started investigating. Hired his own forensic team. Private investigators. Lawyers who didn't answer to his family. People who weren't afraid to dig deep. And what they found flipped the story. His mother wasn't behind it all. She was being used. Manipulated by someone the family had trusted for years. A financial advisor who had handled their paperwork, investments, taxes. He'd slowly siphoned money from Melo's trust using Mary's name. Falsified documents. Hidden transfers. She didn't even know it was happening. When Melo saw the truth, he didn't throw a press conference. He didn't say, "I told you so." He just posted one quiet message. "Truth, don't panic. It just waits." Charges against his mother were reduced. The actual fraudster was caught trying to flee the country. But even as the truth came out, Carmelo didn't feel victorious. He felt hollow. He admitted in an interview later, "I still feel betrayed. Not by her, by myself, for not seeing it sooner. I was too busy playing hero. Too busy making sure everyone else was okay. I didn't stop to ask who was looking out for me." Melo disappeared again. No media. No events. Just silence. For months. Then one day, after months of silence, Carmelo showed up on his own terms, no cameras, no flashing lights, just a simple youth center in Baltimore. He stood in front of a crowd of kids who reminded him so much of himself back in the day. Kids who had dreams but were surrounded by chaos, uncertainty, and hardship. The room was filled with faces looking up at him with hope, curiosity, and maybe a little skepticism. But Carmelo wasn't there to talk about basketball or fame. He was there to share his truth, the raw and painful story that most people never saw. He spoke slowly at first, like he was digging deep inside himself to find the words. He told them about trust, how easy it is to give it away too freely, how it can blind you when you least expect it. He opened up about money, about how it doesn't erase pain or fix broken relationships. He spoke honestly about betrayal, not the kind that comes from strangers, but the kind that cuts the deepest, the kind that comes from the people you love most. Sometimes the ones closest to you can hurt you the worst without even meaning to, he said. His voice cracked, but he kept going. Don't let your love blind you, he warned the kids. Respect yourself enough to ask the hard questions. Don't be afraid to protect yourself. The room was silent for a moment, hanging on every word. Then, slowly, applause started to ripple through the crowd. Quiet at first, then growing louder and louder. This wasn't just a speech. It was a lesson in survival, in strength, and in rising from the ashes. Carmelo Anthony had changed. He wasn't just a basketball icon anymore or a household name. He was a man who had been tested by fire, broken down, and rebuilt stronger than ever. Maybe that's what made his story so much more powerful than any buzzer beater or highlight reel. Because the hardest battles aren't fought on the court, under bright lights and cheering fans. The toughest games happen in the shadows, in hospital rooms, in the silence of heartbreak, in the messy, painful moments of betrayal. When everything you love is on the line, that's when you truly find out who you are. Carmelo found out. And through it all, he didn't break. He rose.